Tonight, a new era for the Whyalla Steelworks begins as residents celebrate, and why Corn locals are hoping the town will become a major tourism mecca.
This is Southern Cross News with Fraser Goldsworthy.
Good evening. After 16 months of uncertainty, pain and turmoil, the town of Whyalla can rest easy with GFG Alliance now officially taking over as the owners of the Whyalla Steelworks. Despite a new name and logo, Chairman Sanjeev Gupta is promising to retain the historic links with the community.
As the new day broke, a new era began for Whyalla and its steelworks. Workers arriving for the morning shift witnessed the unveiling of a new name for the mining site, CIMEC, and the manufacturing site, now Liberty One Steel. The celebrations moved to the rudder, with a feeling of relief washing over everyone.
Liberty One Steel, CIMEC Mining, CIMEC Infrastructure, welcome to Whyalla.
The street party continued to Ada Rain Gardens, where the young and the old celebrated.
It's great for the workers and their families. It's great for the community.
For the future of Whyalla, for the future of the young people, I wish the Whyalla to go forward.
New boss Sanjeev Gupta was front and centre enjoying the occasion, but he says the work has only begun, with changes needed to make the steelworks competitive on the international stage.
To show how Australia should and will be a world-class steel producer. It needs investment, it needs support, it needs hard work. It's not going to be automatic or easy.
He says the first 100 days will be focused on securing reliable energy and planning much-needed upgrades to infrastructure.
It has waste gases which are currently flared, which we can capture by putting a cogen plant in. So that will be very much amongst the top of the list.
The Premier praised the Whyalla community for its spirit to push through uncertain times.
This community has demonstrated their resilience, their strength, and they've created an asset which has been an attractive one.
But for now, it's back to work.
It needs time, it needs investment, it needs support, it needs somebody to come and do it, but all that takes time.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
More details have been released from the coroner's findings into the suicide of an at-risk patient treated at Port Augusta Hospital. Deborah McKenzie took her own life a day after being released from the hospital, and the coroner has made 12 recommendations highlighting the need for more regional mental health staff. Amelia Simpson has more.
It was here 4 years ago that an at-risk young woman was discharged from the Port Augusta Hospital. 24 hours later, she took her own life at her Davenport home, and the coroner has described her care as suboptimal, meaning less than the highest standard. 22-year-old Deborah McKenzie was admitted to the Port Augusta Hospital in March 2013 following a suicide attempt. She was treated by the rostered GP. After an overnight stay in hospital, Miss McKenzie was seen by a doctor in the morning, but she was asleep at the time. When she woke, her chart was reviewed by a mental health nurse and then discharged. The coroner found nursing staff were naive to believe Miss McKenzie's word that she didn't intend to harm herself and that no proper and complete exploration into her circumstances was made. The coroner says Miss McKenzie should not have been released from hospital and that her death could have been preventable if she had been stopped from leaving the Port Augusta Hospital. A psychiatry professor at the University of Adelaide, Robert Goldney, gave evidence to the inquest. His view is that Miss McKenzie should have been kept in hospital longer pursuant to detention under the 2009 Mental Health Act. The coroner's 12 recommendations highlighted a need for a dedicated and properly staffed psychiatric unit here in the Port Augusta region, and that no patient ever be discharged without being assessed by a medical practitioner. If you or someone else you know needs help, call Lifeline or the Suicide Callback Service.
Port Pirie golfers can look forward to seeing more green than brown on the course this summer. The club is building a dam to ensure Port Pirie's 18 holes can cope with the dry months ahead.
Winter has been kind to the Port Pirie golf course, with good rain helping along greenkeepers who struggle to maintain the lush cover all year round. Port Pirie golfers are also used to teeing off on a surface with more dirt than grass, so the club is bringing in the backhoes to build a big dam.
Digging has been for about a week and a half. It'll hold 10 megalitres of water. It's a lot of water.
It may look green and lush now, but in a few months' time, golfers will possibly only be able to play on 50% of the course.
Try and get 9 holes grassed for for the coming summer.
Setting up a new irrigation system with more sprinklers using the dam's recycled water is a cost-effective approach.
This here is now using that storm water that'll be here, be able to be reused again for a good cause instead of going out into the ocean.
Vice President Grant Norton says he hopes to see green fairways all year round.
Digging a dam, it gives us some chance of capturing some water and then seeing what we've got and seeing how far, and try to improve the golf course. That's what it's all for everyone in Pirrie.
Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
Port Lincoln Police are ramping up patrols after a spate of brazen break-ins at houses and into cars over the last 2 days. Officers fear the crimes are linked, but say they're closing in on the culprits.
Another crime spree that's left residents shaken. At 12:30 on Tuesday morning, a man was startled awake to the terrifying sight of another man standing in his bedroom. The occupant managed to scare him off, forcing him to flee his Hague Street property, but not without taking his car keys. Just hours before, police were called to a home on Oxford Street after a group of youths frightened the occupants inside. The teens were chased away down nearby Cranston Street, a packet of cigarettes, their only loot. On the same night, 2 males were seen entering a house on Marine Avenue before being alarmed by residents. Police believe all events are linked and are now on the hunt for those responsible.
We're actually specifically targeting these youths and persons with whom they frequent.
The latest spree follows another just 2 weeks ago, when 2 cars were stolen after thieves smashed their way into homes. Port Lincoln Police forced to ramp up patrols.
We are stepping up our proactive policing strategies in order to combat these housebreaks and motor vehicle offences.
Authorities are urging residents to take precautionary steps, such as securing home and car keys and simply locking doors when leaving homes or businesses.
People, please lock your doors at night. Please lock your cars. It makes it that much harder for people to break into your house or car.
Anybody with information is urged to call police. Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
In the news ahead, Tumby Bay residents online with the National Broadband Network. Details shortly. Welcome back. The town of Quorn has been known for its Pitchy Ritchie Railway, the historic buildings and a movie set backdrop for decades. But now it's added luxury accommodation to its repertoire in what locals hope will boost tourism further.
From old to new, right next door to the historical Great Northern Emporium or Emily's Bistro in Quorn, the local Brown family has opened the Great Northern Lodge, aiming to bring a new life and new faces to the town.
We decided, we've dabbled in small business, and we decided that we would bring tourists that aren't coming here, put a luxury lodge in.
Quorn is already a hotspot for Flinders Ranges tourists, but the family hopes their new development with 22 apartments, 9 hotel rooms and a convention centre will encourage them to stay.
It's just about showcasing Quorn and including Quorn in the Flinders Ranges. We are a destination and we want to be known as a destination, not as a pass-through.
The family has been working on the lodge for years, and while there's finishing touches to be made, it's now in business, already fully booked out for the Quorn races this weekend. They're aiming for 4.5 stars and believe the high-grade accommodation will create momentum for other business in the town.
Small businesses will start in the town, which is really great. You come to Quorn on a weekend, everything's open. We've got 3 cafes, we have 3 pubs, we've got art galleries, so we've got so much to offer. The Great Northern Lodge is just a bonus.
The new lodge is set to create 8 full-time jobs and will host an official opening in November.
And give South Australia something in the Flinders that they haven't as yet got.
Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
The National Broadband Network has been switched on for more than 1,300 properties in Tumby Bay. The network says Telstra will begin disconnecting landline services in these areas 18 months from now and is urging people to do some research into what speeds and data capacity they may need. Those who don't migrate over are at risk of being left without home phone or fixed line internet services. When we return after the break, the latest on the all-important footy finals clashes in Broken Hill this weekend. Stay with us. Welcome back. Port Lincoln's Beer Garden Brewing has collaborated with a local band to produce a one-off brew. The amber ale is infused with traditional hops, barley and a touch of local rock and roll.
Like many good ideas, it all started with a drink.
Conversation around a few beers sort of came, how about we tie it together, and so it's all just sort of come into fruition, and here we are.
Music to the ears of the local brewery.
Came up with the idea of doing a Wheeze ale and thought, yeah, that's a brilliant idea, let's do it.
Popular Eyre Peninsula band Weasel decided to blend their music and taste buds for the launch of their new album.
Good learning experience for us to see how it goes and good fun, so we had a few beers as well and did a bit of taste testing.
The Beer Garden happy to showcase its brewing, the collaboration, a first for the region.
Sort of what we got into this for is just really do exciting things like this, bring new things into Port Lincoln and the Eyre Peninsula.
Wheeze ale will be ready for sale in the next couple of weeks, but a limited supply means it'll be in hot demand.
I think the band will be first in line, that's for sure. We've all sort of put our names on a few already.
This will definitely make an appearance in the fridge at home, no doubt about that. So,
Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
Students from St Mark's College in Port Pirie are putting theory into practice as they prepare to show the region's best cattle at the Royal Adelaide Show and other events.
It's a little like preparing to strut your stuff on a fashion runway. Students are ensuring their stock are looking their best with a quick clip and a final trim before the big showings.
The students will be working on just their leading and handling techniques and also some grooming.
A team of 40 Year 10 and 11 students is keen to see if they have what it takes in front of the judges.
We'll learn about different breeds of cattle and then showing and the best way to show the cattle.
Weighing and preparing statistics for each steer, students will be able to apply knowledge learnt in the classroom to a real-life situation.
They get scanned, so they go through, basically get an ultrasound, and that determines their fat content.
Rocket will be heading down to Adelaide on Tuesday, along with other steers and goats from the college, competing in the Grand Parade and other events against schools from all across South Australia, hoping to walk away with first prize.
Students will be up early washing the cattle ahead of their first event on Wednesday. Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
Well, there's plenty of finals fever in Broken Hill tonight as the Silver City prepares to cap off its footy season with a cracking grand final weekend. Patrick Reinke joins us from the Jubilee Oval. And are the season's best two teams in the final, Pat?
They most certainly are, Fraser. Broken Hill's footy season will come to a close tomorrow, but not before 5 hotly contested grand finals. None will be bigger than the A-grade clash between South and North. This is the 7th straight year these teams have met in the grand final, and South will come into the game as red-hot favourites, having only lost one game all season. I caught up with both coaches at their team's final trainings before the big game.
The boys have done everything right. We've got them in a good headspace, they're fit. It's now comes down on the day and let's see what happens.
For the previous years, at a high pressure game, and we'll sort of bring South undone if we can maintain that for 4 quarters, but that's going to be the difficult part. They're a very classy outfit, and 4 quarters of good footy against them is not easy to do.
Taking a look at the South lineup, and it's a full-strength squad. In the forward line, between Cody Shawn, Dylan Brown, Matt Reevil, Riley Shawn and Arlen Bird, the quintet have scored more than 160 goals this season. Cody Shawn alone has booted 76. Through midfield, Mark Purcell, Jordan Johns, Drew Hardy and Todd Davidson have performed well this season, but you just feel North have that better lineup in that regard. And of course, the Roos have a very potent defence which should put North under the pump when attacking. Speaking of North, they'll be the underdogs here, but they've got the cattle on the park to cause the upset. The agility of Anthony Henderson and Luke Jones, mixed with the verticality of Ethan Slater and Brock Chapman, makes for a potent forward line. And then you've got the on-bowlers. Jaden Kelly, whose sensational season saw him awarded the Lionel Johnston Medal, Eddie Morgan, Cody Howard and Quinton Bevan. It's a brilliant lineup, isn't it? It's going to be very hard to pick a winner between the two sides, but our tipster has had his say.
Last year, in the grand final, North knocked over South, and I don't believe South will allow it to happen again. They've been great sides all year, only lost one game to North in the middle of the season, will certainly be up and about. I think it'll be a great day, great game, get to the football. I'm tipping South easy, game start at 8 o'clock, gates open at 7.
And now let's go around to the other leagues for this week's footy tips.
Hello and welcome to the last minor round of SGL football. With the top 4 set, this will be the last matches for Port and Central this season. The round starts at Port Augusta on Saturday with Central up against South. Central have had a tough season with just the 3 wins, but will be pleased with the talent coming through from their junior grades. South will use this match for some fine tuning coming to next week's major semi-final. I'm tipping South. The Saturday match in Pirie sees the Lions meet West in a prelude to next week's elimination final. This will be the 4th time these two sides have met this season, with the Lions holding the upper hand. Both sides will be looking for the win to gain that psychological edge going into next week's match. I'm tipping West in a close one. The final match is top side Solies taking on Port on Sunday in Pirie. Port, like Central, have blooded a lot of juniors this season and will be looking to these lads to carry the club forward. Solies have had an outstanding season and will be looking for another powerful performance leading into next week's finals. I'm tipping Solies.
West Whyalla have gone through to another grand final, which leaves North Whyalla to play Central Whyalla on Saturday at Bennett Oval. One will leave season 2017, the other goes through to the big dance. Not exactly great form for both teams in the last couple of weeks. North haven't won for a fortnight, and Central's only snuck into this final by winning their elimination final by a point. I do think if Centrals get their act together, they're good players back and they run hard, they could win this game. But the finals experience of North, they've got premiership players there, grand finals players there. They have a knack of winning the big games, and I think the Magpies will just sneak across the line to go through to yet another grand final against arch rival West.
Welcome to Port Lincoln Footy Tips and the first week of finals. This week we see 3rd place Marble Range taking on 4th place Lincoln South at Centenary Oval. Lincoln South are coming off a loss to 5th place Tasman last week and will need all players to contribute this week if they're any chance to win. Marble Range are coming off a huge win last week and had a great spread of goal kickers. Should be a hard-fought game, but I'm going to tip Marble Range to win this one by 5 goals.
So, Fraser, it's going to be an absolutely cracking day here at Jubilee Oval tomorrow. A great way to end what has been a great season across all grades. And with a forecast of 28, sunny and a bit of wind, all finals could go either way. And I'll be back on Monday night for the full wrap-up of Broken Hill's Grand Final Day.
Thanks, Pat. Sounds like a big weekend of footy. Patrick Reinke in Broken Hill there. Well, stay with us after the break, the all-important weekend weather forecast. Welcome back to the weather now. It was a mostly sunny day right across our region. 27 the top in Port Augusta, 25 for Whyalla and Port Pirie 23, and clear skies in Broken Hill, 21 in Adelaide. On the satellite, cloud over southwest WA with a cold front is generating patchy rain and showers. A band of cloud over southeastern WA and western South Australia is triggering showers and thunderstorms. High cloud over northern Queensland isn't bringing much rain. On the waters, westerly winds between 15 and 20 knots, seas over a metre with a south-southwesterly swell. Sunrise at 6:39, sunset just after 6 p.m. A wet and windy day tomorrow for many of the centres, 30 the top in Port Augusta, 29 in Whyalla, 20 with showers in Coffin Bay. Windy but a warm one in Broken Hill for the footy, 28. 28 also in Port Pirie, 25 for Kadina, and also a wet day in Adelaide heading for 23 degrees. To the outlooks now, cooling right down for Port Lincoln, a top of 14 across Monday and Tuesday. A similar story for Cleve, cloud about on Tuesday. Those wet conditions easing on Sunday, but temperatures dropping for Whyalla, falling down to 16 on Monday and Tuesday. Port Augusta also seeing a significant drop into the high teens with some cloudy skies. Kadina, a cool top of just 14 on Tuesday. That change coming through between Saturday and Sunday will bring the max down to 16 for Port Pirie on Sunday, up to just 15 on Monday. Rain about across the weekend for Clare, just 10 degrees on Monday. Skies will stay mostly clear though in Broken Hill, 16 for Tuesday. And just before we go tonight, a reminder for Tumby Bay and Port Lincoln area viewers. Our technicians will be doing some urgent upgrade work to our transmitters on Monday afternoon between 2 and 3, so we apologise for any inconvenience this may cause. And that's all from the Southern Cross News team for now. Thanks for your company. Don't forget you can stay up to date on Facebook and Twitter. You can also drop us an email. I'll have updates a little later. Until then though, enjoy your evening and have a lovely weekend. Good night.